Okay, guys, you've been stacking silver and gold for a long time now, and you've never really thought about what your exit strategy is. When when are you going to sell? What price are you going to sell, and how are you going to sell it? And I know some of you are going to say, "I'll never sell it," but that's not reality. So at some point, you're going to sell it, or your family's going to sell it for the dreaded fiat. So let's talk about this for a few minutes. So here we are, guys. For whatever reason, you've decided to sell your silver and gold stacks. You've been hoarding it. You've worked hard. You've put your hard-earned money into this, putting it away, and at some point, you're going to have to sell it, or, God forbid, somebody in your family will have to sell it for whatever reason. There's a lot of things that can happen in life that determine whether or not you have to sell it. In a perfect world, you hold it as long as possible. But at some point, even though a lot of guys say they're never selling their stash, they're going to keep it till they die, it's going to get sold. It's just inevitable. So what's the right price to sell at? If you're watching the markets and whatever price gets you, what's that magic number in your mind that, well, I'm going to take some profits, or I'm going to sell some of this stuff off now? Let's leave aside the notion of unseen expenses or something major coming up in life that you have to sell it for whatever reason. I'm just talking about everything is going well and you have to sell it, or you decided you want to sell it now for whatever reason. It may not be as simple as just going out and selling it. It depends on current market conditions. And I'm going to tell you guys something about a couple things I've seen over the last few years in regards to the price and how dealers react to the price. Even the big dealers react in a certain way. And I saw it twice, and it's interesting, but I'm going to tell it to you from what I saw as a dealer. Right when COVID hit and the market started to panic, the stock market came way down, gold and silver came way down. Silver, I believe, for a really short period of time, hit 11 or 12 bucks an ounce. So I had guys coming in here, calling me, "Hey, what do you got? What do you got?" Hopefully thinking that I'd be able to sell it to them at that price. But, good luck getting it at that price. Even if you could find it available from anybody, it was impossible to get it at even close to those $11 or $12 per ounce. It's just not going to happen. A dealer is not going to just sell you all their stuff, panic sell. It's not going to happen. Regular stackers aren't going to panic sell for sure. They're not going to sell it. That's never happening. So it was unobtainable at that point. And if you did find it, they're going to have gigantic premiums. I remember them. They were charging 10, 15 bucks an ounce above the spot price, or premium above the spot price. So that wasn't happening. The other scenario was, I remember when it hit 30 bucks an ounce, and this actually happened. This is true. Almost all the local dealers I know for a fact around here ran out of money. Something about that big round whole number, the $30, triggered something, and people were coming in lines. I had lines of people trying to sell it, and I ran out of money. I ran out of money to buy. And then the big online bullion houses actually ran out of money temporarily. A lot of them just stopped buying anything for a few days. So these are considerations you got to think about. I've heard the number of 50 quite a bit from silver stackers. Even guys that have been stacking for 20 years, they said at 50 bucks an ounce, I'm probably going to sell my stuff. The problem is, at 50 bucks an ounce, it's going to be very, very difficult to sell it. And it depends on how it gets to 50 bucks an ounce, in my opinion. If it ran up really quick to 50 bucks an ounce, forget it. You're not selling that stuff. It's going to be so hard to sell it. It's going to be impossible. Nobody's going to be buying it. Even if they have the money, they're not going to buy it. So you got to keep that in mind. A slow progression up over time to $50 an ounce, where it's more stable, a stable rise, then you should be able to. It shouldn't be a problem. But that number, that $50 number, is plays in people's minds because there were two points, I believe, with the Hunt brothers in 1980 and in 2011 when it hit really close, like 48 or 49 bucks an ounce, and then it crashed right after that. So hopefully that doesn't repeat if it ever goes to 50, which I think it will go to $50 an ounce. But we really needed to go a nice, slow, steady climb to 50. Then you should be okay to get out of it. But these are things you got to think about, and I think a lot of guys don't think about this stuff. They're just like, I'm just going to keep adding and adding and adding, and when that number hits, I'll know it, and I'm going to sell some of my stuff to buy my new house or this or that. That's great in a perfect world, but it doesn't really work that way. So these are things you really got to think about. You really should come up with some kind of exit plan if you're planning on exiting. There's factors involved. One of the big ones is obviously your age. How old are you? I mean, if you're 30 years old, you got a long time. If you're 60, 70 years old, you better think about when you're exiting, because how long can you keep it for? Now, I have one customer that's hoarding it or stashing it or stacking it or whatever you want to call it. He's been stacking a long time, and he's leaving it to his daughters. So here's another tip, and I've talked to him about this. If you're going to leave your silver stacks and your gold stacks to your children, if you have kids that you're leaving it to, make sure they have instruction on what to do with it. Because if they don't, they're going to be like, Dad left us all this, but what do I do with it? And then when they go out and they go into some of these shops, and if they run into the wrong dealer, the wrong type of dealer, they're going to get taken advantage of. So I would actually leave notes on who to call. If you have friends that are coin dealers, or you just have friends that you could trust that are stackers that will know what to do with it, that's what you should do. So you should think about all these scenarios. Let's hope, guys, that it runs to $50 an ounce. But just keep in mind, have some kind of exit strategy. And I can't tell you for you when the right price to sell is. I don't know. That's up to you, and that depends on your situation. But just keep this stuff in mind that I told you about, especially about the current situations. Have a good day, guys.